Melissa Bartlett. And your boy, Kerry Bixby. It's your show. So tell us what you want to talk about. It's At the Round Table podcast show.
Yes, indeed, feed the needy. We are back and live on the At the Round Table podcast show.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you, I love it when he drops it like that. Go down a couple octaves. Yes, man.
Yes, sir.
That is what's up.
Ain't nothing. Certainly not nothing. Been missing y'all too, though. How everything been going on y'all end?
Life, and life.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
Life, and more life. All you can do is live it and keep it moving.
That's
That's it.
right.
Well, y'all, thank y'all for joining us on At the Round Table podcast show. As you know, we have the lady that makes things happen. As you can see with her incredible hairdo and her jewelry and the flowers in the back, and she's just looking all so elegant, like she knew it is the Miss Pitbull in the dress. Melissa Bartlett.
Hello. You so silly. Hello to my brothers and people out there, ATRT family. You know how I am. I miss you so much. I will look forward to Wednesdays. And honestly, I wanted to have some fun, but I was reading something today where a gentleman stated that he feels that women over 45 should not wear ponytails, and even the sisters that are natural shouldn't have afro puffs and things of that nature. So, of course, you know, me being me, I had to throw my hair up in as what close as I could with my dreads, my locks, and I posted a picture saying, you know, about B47, and I have lock puffs. So I just wanted to be messy today, but also had some fun. But yeah, I could not believe that he posted that on Instagram. So
Yeah, that's a different kind of take right there from whoever you said who posted that.
it's some dude brother too.
Ah,
Yeah,
huh.
he wanted his women to look sophisticated, and he feels like sometimes some of the hairstyles are embarrassing, and so he was doing this whole rant. So of course it was just, you know, it's my pleasure to be messy.
Nothing wrong with that, boy. Y'all better don't mess with pit bulls.
They don't want to see that.
They don't want that to come out. Be looking fine and chunk me up at the same time. All right.
At the same time, and still graceful about it.
For real. What's going on, Terry? Thank you for joining us on At the Round Table podcast show. Get a chance to share this because we about to get into the meat of the matter tonight.
And don't forget about my bro A Money. I know I give him a hard time, but that's because I love you, man.
Oh, sweet.
Likewise. Likewise, I appreciate that. And the gentleman below me and Miss Pitbull, the one that stirs the drink, Mr. CD himself.
What's going on, family? Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's gonna be some slow stirring tonight because your boy a little under the weather right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Got some surgery done. And tell you, when you get over 50, when you get cut, it don't heal like it used to. I'm gonna be honest with you. The healing is rough. So, but you know what? We're gonna have a good time tonight. I know when sis dropped this text to us about tonight's show, I was sitting there. I was sitting there in my PJs because I'm really lounging right now due to these incisions, these cuts. And I'm sitting like this, and I have to have a pillow over me. And when she said that, I can't laugh because if I do, I might bust. And she did that, and I said, And they was like, "What's wrong, babe?" I said, "Nay, this Wednesday's topic." And she read it. She was like, "Oh Lord." I said, "Yeah, buddy, it's about to be on tonight." But I'm glad you mentioned that because not only did she mention one particular topic, she mentioned another topic, which I know a lot of parents are very disturbed about. And now things have changed and stuff. So, shouts out to Pitbull for bringing these things to the forefront because I know tonight it's gonna be fire, and
Mm-hmm.
it's her fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we blame it on you.
Yeah,
Well, just a disclaimer too for both of you. For both of you, I might have a wild card at the end of the conversations.
Mm,
I have a wild card topic.
I like it.
we
All
love it.
This
right.
is not a dictatorship. I just was
Mhm.
saying, hey, let's. What about these topics? We welcome all conversation.
Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, all right. So people look like they're coming in and stuff. So hey, let's just go ahead and make it do what it do. Tonight we are going to address the elephant that it has been in the room in a lot of households, but it was propagated from the slap heard around the world.
Mm.
And
Still hear the echoes.
you can still hear the ramifications and the residual effects have
Mm.
made every office, every home, every relationship, and probably at your mom and daddy house right now, and grandma chiming in as well. We are talking about the Oscars, and we are talking about the Will Smith, Chris Rock. It wasn't an entanglement, but it was a major situation that occurred that night. And if you don't know, I don't know what rock y'all been hiding up under, but this thing has everybody talking about it. So we're here. We want to talk about it with y'all. We want your opinion. We want you to chime in. We want you to go get mom and them as well and ask them to chime in. And then, of course, we gonna give our 2 cents. And hopefully, when we walk away, everybody have either a greater understanding, a whole lot of laughter, and be able to help somebody else as well. So we already got one person that chimed in. That was an embarrassment, a straight
Straight,
embarrassment,
straight embarrassment.
straight embarrassment. All right. So who would like to, between the two of y'all, start this thing off? Because I'm gonna be fielding a lot of these messages and reading them, and then I'll chime in afterwards or
Well,
whatever.
I respect both of you as men and as husbands, and so I was really interested to hear your take on it because my post of any of the family that is on my personal page,
Mm,
my post was just about the actual incident. As far as the the response, the reaction,
mm,
the energy that was given, and the biggest takeaway that I took from from this or my initial was I was happy to see a black woman, a black wife publicly be defended and protected because it's not seen, it's not shown. They just got to the point, thank goodness for Samuel L. Jackson's and Denzel Washington's when they're on the red carpet. They had, they literally used to have their spouse by the hand because again, they wanted to cut from them. And it was still shown that we as black people are incapable of love and relationships. It's still kind of still going on the screen. So I was
Mm.
very, very like good. It's something done on that stage. Now, do I agree with how happened and what happened? Because shout outs to Will Packer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he tried to make the Oscars as inclusive as it could be.
mm,
Um, the production was phenomenal.
yes.
Having the women comedian, um,
Mm-hmm.
having D Nice DJ the first half, and then having a soulful in-house band the second half. Like there was so many different things that this Oscars was like, wow, okay, this is actually entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then that happened, and then the shouting from the audience. Um, so I just kind of wanted to hear because I know how you guys are. Like I said, I respect you guys as kings to your queens. what and how would you have done that? Or do you understand why he did that?
Hmm.
That's a very good question, Melissa. I understand. I
Mm,
certainly understand. For someone to, in my opinion, whether Chris considered it as a joke or to lighten the mood at the expense of somebody's wife, I can certainly see how Will would have responded to that. However, I do agree that the tactic that he used at that particular time could have been different.
Hmm.
Um, this isn't the first time that excuse me, Chris has said something about Jada over no, I think it was the last Academy Awards, if I'm correct.
I
Right.
think
So,
that's when he hosted in 2016.
hmm
Correct. Yeah.
I
That's
think
true.
you're right. So, with that thread being given out, it I can see Will and maybe Jada too looking as if they might have been targeted, or is she being targeted? So as far as Will and his reaction, I can see him taking up for his wife. I would have did the same thing, and I would have took up for mine.
Right.
However, again, I don't know. I think it might have been a reach for him to have did what he did during that particular time, during that particular setting. And when you're talking about Will Packer, then the outstanding show that he put together too, it kind of, I hate to say that, but it kind of took away from the show. It really did, because that's the only thing that
Oh,
you're really talking about from the show.
yeah, yeah. It took away from Questlove's Oscar. It took away from Samuel L. Jackson's
Hmm.
disrespectful, honorable Oscar. Um, it it did kind of like overcast a lot of great moments for us as people of color during this time, and not even so much people of color, but the ones that have said, I'm not going to stick in that comfortable Hollywood mold. So they brought
Hmm.
us something that was actually entertaining. So yeah, it totally overcast all of those accomplishments.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Man, there's a lot of comments coming in. Let me what's going on, Mr. Williams? How you doing this evening? Thank you for joining us on the Roundtable Podcast Show. Terry mentioned, she says it's a shame to me that people are sorry, y'all, admiring a clearly toxic relationship. Jada's look at the end made my stomach turn. She also said he wasn't protecting her. She wasn't in danger. Another show host said there's a difference between hurtful and harmful behavior. You can't protect someone from hurtful behavior because it's their personal feeling or opinion. You can only protect them from harmful behavior, something that will cause bodily harm. Wow, that's deep. Lorenzo said, "Love y'all. We love you too, man." Tonight, Lorenzo, we're talking about the slap heard around the world, the Oscars, and what Will did regarding Chris Rock's uh, joke. Um, y'all, if you don't remember, if you haven't heard of You're Under a Rock, basically he made a joke pertaining to Jada's hair. His exact words were, what was it? Part two. I'm sorry, y'all.
I was looking out for GI Jane Part 2 or
G.I.
something like
Jane
that.
Part Two, and then
Mm-hmm.
he laughed about it. And
Which Will was laughing also.
thank you, thank
He
you.
was. He was.
Will will laugh, and then it's interesting how the camera panned over to look at Jada, and Jada's disdain to the joke led to him going up on stage and then smacking him or trying to
But she
slap
never
him.
said anything to him. She
She
just
never
gave
did.
him that look like, oh, you laughing too. Like, you know, um, I wasn't here, you know. But
Yeah,
I don't like the blame. I'm not gonna say that their relationship hasn't had its issues, but I don't feel his relationship had any different issues than anybody else. So people talking about, oh, it's toxic and Jada's toxic. Their relationship is like anybody's else. And I feel like Will had a whole bunch of stuff. Like they've been together over 20 some years. Okay. Will did a lot of stuff in the past prior to Jada even starting to spread her wings. So when you start bringing all of that into it, it's so much to unpack that you don't even know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Will is not a adolescent, unexperienced, naive man, and Jada is running all over him. Like that man still is a leader in his marriage, in his home, and I mean he's reaping what he sowed, basically, because she went through a lot with him in the beginning of their marriage. So before you start talking about how his mental health is this and Jada's toxic, because he did a lot of stuff, and he might have been she might be the product of what has happened to her in their marriage in the earlier days.
And following that comment, that's a very good statement too. Following up what you said, Will, and I'm just looking from the outside in. He has been conditioned to be that individual who doesn't rock the boat, who's always the one that's laughing and the one that's who they, and I hate to say they, but who I think that publicists want to push out there in front of you as,
Yep.
okay, this is the safe one. This is the safe one. This is the guy that you can put your money on. This is the guy
Yep.
that you can market. So with that being said, with him laughing, I think that was just again, this is speaking on my opinion, just that natural instinct of not being that individual who's the angry person. However, however, reflecting back on it, he may have that reflection when he saw the expression of his wife, who you could certainly see that she had disdain for the comment, and then you have to take in her feelings at that particular time, going through what's the disease.
Alopecia.
Alopecia.
Thank you, going through that, and you I can't even imagine how some women would react to losing their hair like that and coming off of it and being and sharing it on social media, how she's been dealing with it and how much it had bothered her. For that to have been said, and Chris have to put himself in that same position. I know that he's no longer with his wife right now, but if the shoes were on the other foot, how would you feel about it? How do you think your wife at the time would feel about that?
And
Yeah.
if you go back over Oscar history of those who had the comedians host, not one comedian has ever taken a shot at a
Hmm.
nominee or even one of their fellow celebrities' spouses
Hmm. Hmm.
ever.
Yeah. I I've got the chance to, the cool thing about social media is it allows you the opportunity to really listen to how other people perceive and
Mm-hmm.
things, and also the World Wide Web. I didn't say the internet, I said the World Wide Web. And the reason why I said that is because so much that we do, that we post, even this particular show, y'all, will be seen years from now.
Yep.
So I thought it was so ironic when a clip came up, and I'm just going to throw out different things to y'all so everybody can have like a real open vision as far as, not just the situation, but things in general. But I thought it was interesting when there was a clip that came up in which Will was on the Arsenio Hall show,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making fun of one of the band members, and that gentleman had alopecia,
Mm.
and he cracked jokes there about it, but he didn't know. I said, okay, I put that over into my little things to think of. Um, I also thought about during the show when Regina made a comment, a joke about the single men.
Let's talk about that. I
And
got a
she,
pen, but go ahead.
yeah, she made a joke about the single men, and she told Will, "You might want to come up here, considering how you and Jada's relationship is." And they busted out laughing. Jada was extremely laughing. I said, "Okay." I put that over in my little things to think about later on. I also thought about, and I was telling this with my son as far as the whole situation, and he and I got into a very good conversation about it. My youngest one. And we talked about it, and he was saying, and I told him, I said, really, in all intents and purposes, they should have escorted him off. I said, but I think because of the magnitude of the night and what was going on with that particular show, as well as how other celebrities, African American men, got up and was over there, and then another actor got up and said something to him and was comforting him and everything.
That's another pen. Mm-hmm.
How they got up and mitigated the situation, in contrast to back in Oscar times. I want to say around in the 50s, when John Wayne was about to jump on an actress who was an Indian, a Native American, and the staff from the Oscars grabbed him. 6 of them grabbed him because John Wayne. If y'all do your history on John Wayne, he's the All-American, can eat meat and all this other stuff, and but he has some serious issues in regards to those of brown color.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the thing. Put that over on the back of the thing. I said, okay. So I'm saying all these things, and then of course, social media. And I get on here, and I'm looking at a post that Will Smith made. He says, "Stop letting people who do so little for you control so much of your mind, feelings, and emotions." He posted that on Instagram years ago. Okay, put that over here in the back thing. Then, of course, everybody's joking about, Will, and he gonna get up there and jump on this guy because of that, but he didn't do anything with August Alsina. Whoa, I'll put this over here in the back. I'm bringing out all these things is because of this. I'm coming right there, Dennis. I'm gonna get you on in a minute. I gotta make my comment real quick though. But I say this because my sis asked, "What would I have done if it was my wife?" And I've been in a situation almost similar to that. But I know who I am, and I know my wife, and I know that if her and I are king and queen, and we're building a nation, if we're building a legacy, a dynasty, and such, there is nothing that's going to get in the way of that. I probably would have said something from my seat. And if I felt like I need to approach him, I wouldn't have did it on worldwide TV right there. I know how I am. I would have went around the back and I would have confronted him in the back. But I also know that my actions weigh heavily upon those that I love. So for me to step up in order to throw hands on somebody on such a large stage, considering this was supposed to be my night, and then even my wife, she even said it herself. She said, "You know what? Even if you was Kay to go up there and try to do something, if that was you and you was trying to do something," she said, "I would have grabbed you." I said, "I know you would have, babe." I said, "Because you are, as the Bible says, a virtuous woman. You make sure your husband don't do anything that is going to affect the household, and you don't do anything that is going to bring shame to the name of this game." So everybody's saying, "Oh, well, he was right for smacking him and stuff because he was defending her and stuff." Family, let me tell y'all something. If you're strong in your relationship, now granted, if we're out and about and guy put his hand on my wife and stuff, that's it's all she wrote right there. We wrecking shop from pillar to post.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something just as simple as a joke, and you're willing to give up, like they always say, you can take your lifetime to build your legacy, but you do one thing and it'll tear it down. I personally don't think that what he did should be the calling card for all African American men to defend their wives. I don't think that because you don't know what goes on in every household. In other words, there's a lot of African American men that do things that are phenomenal for their wives, that are fighting battles behind the scenes that have not been said, have not been shown, that you don't even know. I mean, to me, it was crazy to me to see that transgression. And then for him, after all of that, to accept his award, and then he wants to apologize to, like I told my family, he could have just took the award and said, "Thank you, God bless, good night." If you want to apologize, he could have apologized to Chris and the Oscars way later. That right there, that cry boo-hoo moment or whatever, sir, I'm sorry. Call me old school North Charlotte. New York, I'm not feeling that because that was not the outlet for you. You've already did this. And then here goes Questlove, who comes behind you to accept an Oscar for a beautiful piece of work that showed us in a during a time in which it was questionable about us, but we all gathered together in order to enjoy music and each other. And he won an Oscar, and that got overshadowed because of this guy.
They didn't air it.
They barely heard it. And it was so sad because he was right there with his mom. He did this with his mom. His mom was the orchestrator to take him to those concerts, to introduce him to the love of music. And it got overshadowed because this guy is so insecure in regards to his relationship with his wife. My thing is, she's already done what she's going to do. There's no defending or whatever sort. If anything, he should have just made mention, yo, I appreciate you not saying anything about my wife, man. He didn't have to go up there, try to pimp slap him. I said try to pimp slap him, then go back and sit down, and then go and yell, bellow. To me, that was a whole bunch of theatrics. That wasn't real. To me, I could be wrong. Call me crazy, but I think if he really wanted to defend his wife, he could have been boisterous first and then wreck shop behind the scenes later. That's what real men don't tear up everything that they built with someone for someone because they love someone. They don't tear that up. They don't cause any hurt, harm, or danger to their family. And by him doing this, he has shined a light on himself and his family that is going to go down there with Kanye when he got up there on stage and went nuts because Beyonce didn't win her award. To me, he embarrassed himself. I wouldn't say he embarrassed African Americans. He embarrassed himself.
No, no, that's a singular Will Smith moment. That no, he didn't embarrass other people that take part in the art.
He really did. He really did. I gotta get these comments because I know a lot of people they chiming in now. Terry made. I'm gonna come back to yours, Terry, but I wanted to mention. Dennis said Chris has a history with Will. Chris appeared on the Fresh Prince way back and has gone after Jada twice. My gut tells me that something went on behind the scenes, and the Smiths are just in Chris Rock's sights when opportunity arises. Could very well be, bro.
There's definitely history there. Oh, yeah. There's definitely history there.
There's history. But here's my thing, and I'm still playing devil's advocate. Why didn't Jada say anything to Regina when she made her comment?
Regina said, "Oh, Will Smith," she said, "Jada already approved it. Come on." That's all she said. I would like to take the pen out for that moment that you brought up. Jada and Regina are friends, especially after Girls Trip.
Right.
There's a relationship that is established. There's a comfort zone that's established. It's just like if girlfriends get together and they call each other B or whatever the case, or people be like, "Oh, my dude, da 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 da." You have to have a understood comfort zone. You can't then just have, say, somebody that Adrian went to school with come and hang out with y'all, and then he starts acting like he's just as cool with you as Adrian. That doesn't work because you and Adrian have a relationship. Y'all have a comfort zone. There's things that Adrian can do or say, or things that you would allow because that is your dude. But his classmate that you don't really know can't take those same liberties. So when people bring that up, I kind of feel like that's a little biased because they actually have a relationship off of the stage.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Granted that they have a relationship off the stage, but still, there has always and already has been, and a lot of people were saying as well on social media, and even Good Morning America and a lot of other medias. Even though they had that type of relationship, that is still, whether people realize it or not, because you can tell when it's being brought up to Will at an interview by Good Morning America or by on a Tonight Show or whatever, and somebody brings up quote unquote the entanglement, there's a pause. And then he goes into it as though, oh, here we go again. Let me give my song and dance and say this, this, and this, and let's get on to the next thing. So even with the even with the comfort level that they have in the relationship that they have, I still think that if it's still a situation that has brought up some pain, you still need to tread lightly. Whether or not that's like me and my relationship with Adrian and yourself, and I know there's something that is painful to y'all, but now I jokingly say something about it. To me, that's questioning, am I really being sensitive to their thoughts and their needs and stuff? Because I know even though I know them, they down by law with me. They're my family, literally. Like I do anything for them. But if I bring this up, am I not jeopardizing the relationship or the family? So I kind of
I,
understand what you're saying, but
I think the whole nature of it, because she didn't just say, all right, we'll come up and then Jada's fine with it. Like she had multiple, multiple dudes. So, you know, let's not act like that's not going to ever come up, but there's still a way that you handle it. And when Chris made his joke again, he was presented for Will. He should have talked about Will. He should have had jokes about Will. He could have talked about Wild Wild West. He could have talked about anything if he wanted to do a reference joke to a movie.
true, very true,
He didn't have to say anything about Jada
true.
at all. Period. She has nothing to do with why you're up there. You're up there to present an award to him. You could have joked about him. So if we're going to talk about, all of this consideration, then the consideration should have been taken then, because
Mm-hmm.
he definitely, I think he was out of line. I don't
Oh yeah,
agree
no
with
doubt.
the smack. I did get hyped about it, but I did not agree with the smack, but I did agree with why he felt he needed to do that. Definitely, I know my husband from the door is going to always consider, consult, and analyze protocol before having an impulsive outburst. Like that's just the way that he is. So as long as it was handled, as long as I know that you addressed whatever that situation is, I don't necessarily need you to be physical with the person that I felt hurt me or disrespected me.
Right.
Now, Terry, I may be a little toxic because I get my blood rolling when there's a little, what you say? What that give me a little hype, just a little bit, just a little bit. But I definitely wouldn't want to see, anybody that I'm in a relationship with that I'm like, hey, you might go to jail. We already have issues with cops. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're already thinking about all this other stuff. So, absolutely, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, and
For sure.
I feel you. Great, trust and believe. I think the context of Chris's joke was totally off base. It was totally unnecessary. Trust and believe that. I think anyone who's suffering something should not be a target. And I've heard a lot of people, and they say a lot of things on social media as far as, that's what comedians do, blah, blah, blah. They approach this, they do that, blah, blah, blah. Hence the reason why I kind of threw in that little situation with Will, and when he was on Arsenio Hall show and everything like that. A lot of times, people who are funny, they think about the laughter and they don't think about the situation. So what he did was wrong. I think he could have attacked or pointed everything out and such. But at the same time, and I want to say this, if somebody makes a joke, like if me and my wife is out and about and somebody makes a joke about me, I don't expect her to jump in. And if somebody makes a joke about my wife and stuff, again, I'm gonna be like, what? And I'm gonna be vocal. I'm definitely gonna be vocal, but I don't think that's immediately a situation to say, okay, yeah, here go these hands. We have to we have to stop being so reactionary.
Mm.
We really do. We have to quit being reactionary and start understanding the situation, because a lot of times we're already painted with that in mind.
And your wife would let you know that's cool, or hey, that's a problem. I know
Right.
Queen T and Queen Renee would be like, hello? Yeah, I didn't appreciate that.
Right.
So they're gonna give you that. They're gonna give you that green light to say, "Hey, babe, I didn't like that." So I mean, it's definitely that. But I want to talk about move to Denzel and Tyler Perry, the brotherhood, the mentorship, the elder, the wisdom that went over after this happened and talked to Will. That was beautiful as well. One of the
Yeah.
moments that should go right up with Queston and the young lady who did West Side Story, and everything that Will Packer tried to encompass in his production. That definitely is right up there with that to me, to show that these two brothers went over to him to let him know, like, whatever else was said other than what Will shared during his speech from Denzel Washington, and the fact that Denzel, he went to Chris and was like, "You okay? You all right?" To me, those are men that are men. Those are kings, because that's what wisdom, that's what longevity looks like. That's
Right.
what you have been through something. That's what that looks like. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful, that was captured.
Yeah.
You know,
And here's the irony. What if, just what if the elder statesman himself, Sidney Poitier, was in attendance there at that time? You've got generations of African American men. And some people say, oh, it ain't about black and white. No, wait a minute. I digress. At this moment, it is. If Sidney Poitier was there, and just think about all the travesties that he had to go through to allow a foundation to be built. So therefore, Will himself, right there at that appointed place and time, is head to head with Denzel himself in order to see who's going to get that Oscar, because both of them did some amazing performances. Amazing performances. You get a chance to watch, was it Macbeth? Amazing.
Macbeth.
Amazing. Will, King Richard versus Macbeth. Y'all don't, both of them were amazing. But if Sidney was here, what would be his response to this situation? I think, and like
we wouldn't know, because he would talk to Will directly. We would, we wouldn't know, because he would definitely speak to him directly. He would not be out there, because again, that's that same vein and spirit of Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jackson. Oh God, he looked like he'd been old all his life. He played God. What's his name?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman. Like, they do a lot.
Let him at the gates.
The legendary Sidney Poitier, the legendary oh my goodness, he just died. Carmen.
Oh my goodness.
Help me.
I see your face.
Help me.
Hey, Money, this is your forte right here now.
I'm having a hard time thinking of his name too. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
All of them, so embarrassing. All of them,
it's all right.
had that grace about them that would do and mentor and support things in the background. And so, I say this a lot, especially with our African American men. I don't care how old you are, because this was told to me by my therapist, that if you have to heal the girl in order to heal the woman. And so many of our African American men, that little boy hasn't healed, and they've went on and done great things and are phenomenal men and contributors to society, but that little boy is still needing to be healed, and to have mentorship, whether they were to take up acting, music, sports. I think there has to be a mentorship that is given to our Black men. I don't care if you're 14 or 41. If that little boy hasn't healed, at some point you need to heal that little boy before you take your last breath. And so, being in that world, being in that industry, A Money hit it on the head. Will Smith was the very compliant, safe option. He totally rebranded himself, because they told him, we need you to kind of remove, kind of help people forget that you came out on the music scene as a rapper. That's what he started out with. And so he was very compliant. He did everything that he needed to do. As he became more famous and got more pull, got more power, got more juice, he did do things that gave back to the community, but he kept making his way. He kept making his way. I mean, at one point, he was the highest paid Black actor. Nobody was making the multi-million-dollar deals for multiple movies like Will Smith was at one time in Hollywood.
Mm.
So he did everything that he needed to do, and that's why there wasn't any security. That's why there wasn't, because nobody ever would have thought that Will Smith would have done what he did, especially on the center stage of the Oscars.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
why he was sitting up front. Because like, who would have thought Will Smith would have did that? Nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody.
so true.
Yeah.
So true.
But here's the
It's
irony
like a
too, because Terry just mentioned, she said, and they are public figures. Anything that comes out in the light makes it fair game. That's the price you pay. I kind of want to throw a little
That's
salt
right,
on that as
Terry.
well, because here's the thing. I thought it was so ironic with the gentlemen that were up that were attending to both Chris Rock and Will Smith. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The last time, somebody tell me right now, if you can research right now online and post on here with us, the last time you saw an article about Denzel Washington getting into it with his wife, or anything about Samuel L. Jackson getting into it with his wife, or doing something outlandish or whatever sort, or their sexual escapades, whatever the case may be. Do some research right now and look it up and see. Okay. Then
No.
the whole Tyler Perry thing. Tyler Perry, he came over to the side and said, "Do me a favor, see if you can see that." I'm saying this because I'm playing devil's advocate again. And Sidney Poitier. Okay. Um, the reason why you don't see anything about them is because they understood how to separate family from the industry. Okay. I'll give y'all an example. I remember meeting Denzel Washington's wife and their whole family, including David. They came up to the restaurant and we closed down. We actually fed them. They had the restaurant to themselves. Uh, it was an amazing time just to be able to sit and chit chat with her. And she's very, very humble, very humble. She's dating one of the premier. She's matter of fact not dating. She's married to one of the premier Black actors in the world. Okay, and he never brought anything of that stuff home, to the point in which his own son was able to go to school in North Carolina. And a lot of people, you didn't even know about that. The fact that he played sports at this school in North Carolina. So and Samuel L. Jackson, the most you hear about him and his wife is the fact of when he was on drugs and how she was there for him in order to help turn his life around. His life took a major turn beyond 30 in order to be a very prolific actor and well recognized. And you hear about them giving constantly to HBCUs and helping other individuals and such. I mean, these brothers have written their own ticket, but they didn't allow the noise to get in the way to affect the family. So, I question if maybe at a time like this, with what Will did, it goes back to what you said, sis. Maybe somebody needs to heal the little boy. Maybe it's that needs to be taken care of, and get him away from a lot of this noise. The noise with Jada and August Alsina, the noise with his son and his daughter now starting to gravitate into the business and stuff and develop their own roles and their own identities and things of that nature, and sometimes their questionable relationship and things of that nature. It's a lot that's going on, and maybe he needs to take a break from this and get with the mentors, and they can say, "Look, young man, this is how we did it. You don't have to give in to what they're giving you." He said something to the effect of he wanted to be that type of man that everyone looks up to. And I think he kind of like realized that, oh man, what I did tonight, I'm not that man. He's still that little boy. Oh shoot. My apologies, Charlie. Hey, she said good luck. She said good luck on finding it. She said there was one speculation of infidelity and all, though let's be honest, their level of decorum is different. Good points. Good points, sis.
Mm.
Alan, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining us. He said, question, do y'all really think Chris Rock was being malicious in his intent?
No, I don't think he was being malicious, Alan. I think he was being insensitive. And what made me just check that was when he lied and said, "Oh, I didn't know that she was dealing with that." You were their homeboy at one time back in the day, so anything that come up with Will or Jada, you're gonna look at it. You're gonna know it, even if you're getting your information from social media. You knew that she was dealing and she was sensitive to it. So, do I feel that he, had the intent to just be like, "Oh, I'm a gutter"? No, but yeah, you brought it up because you knew that it was going to be sensitive. So you were
Mm.
insensitive to it.
Good point, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And it kind of runs parallel to what Sis was saying. They had issues and problems. They just had a different level of maturation. That's the thing, the maturity level. Again, it might be that little boy still there, you know, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and not the Will Smith that everybody can say, hey, count on Will, blah blah blah. We don't care about what he's going through, blah blah blah. This is Will, and I think I don't know. It kind of made me question if the pressure really got to him as well. Because think about it. It seemed like every other week he was either on a show or at an awards, winning an award, and it's just like I think maybe the world came in on him. I don't know, but I know even if the world comes in on him, that still don't mean that you have to degrade yourself and stoop to that level.
I don't think that it was controlled. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to make an excuse. I being a person that have had a physical outburst that was so out, like, just it does make you just be embarrassed. But at that point, it's like somebody popping a rubber band. Um, it's it's not in control. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, you can't logically say, "Oh, this is why I did that," because it is an illogical action.
Good point.
I think that's what happened to him. I really did. I feel like he had a snap in between what was happening probably before the show or maybe in that week, whatever the case. Um, I think something may have been happening with his mom because he made it a funny, but you can tell where his face when he is like, "My mom got a knitting group." Like, I think he probably really wanted her to come, and she maybe didn't realize how important it was for her to be there. Who knows? You know what I mean? And I think that there was a lot of moving pieces that caused him to explode.
Good point, Charlie. Good point, Terry. They're chiming in, trying to get as many of them up as possible. Alan said, "I wonder why people aren't talking about how Jada and Will talks about their relationship, and why didn't Will slap August for their entanglement?" You know what? A lot of people, we just mentioned that earlier. We just said something about that earlier. Um, that's interesting. I don't know that.
You don't know what Will did with August because the whole thing with the entanglement was he came and leaked everything. And he and Will and Jada were never together in a person. Once they came and had a conversation, I think that's the first time that he was there. But you don't know what he did to August once
Mm,
they got together. You don't know what happened. So that's just being messy. I get it, but that's apples and oranges to me.
Charlie said, when you understand the NLVD, you may understand how Chris is currently still processing what is going on. Yeah, a lot of people. Thank you for saying that too, Charlie. Because a lot, I saw a post the other day, and it was going around social media and stuff about Chris's reaction and stuff. And I had to get on there and I had to shut it down, like telling people, "Yo, don't." We get so caught up in social media that a message came out about Chris apologizing, and that wasn't even from him nor his camp. It is, and I told him, I think, yo, he and his camp are still trying to understand the direction they're going to take. Okay, they were in all he was, in all intents and purposes, jumped on. Okay, so And a lot of people was like, wow, and he was out that night. Yeah, because of what she just mentioned. Y'all, it's a totally different mindset. So for him to go out and hang out for a while and stuff and take that pictures and then the next day just shut down, nobody has heard from him. His camp hasn't released any type of statements whatsoever. They're still trying to do so and let the awards committee do what they need to do. The governors do what they need to do. Will, ironically enough, goes on social media and drops an apology. I'm sorry. To me, that was another no-no. If you just laid hands on this guy and the whole world, I mean, people in Australia were tripping because they did not have a cut in. Okay. America, the sound went out. They immediately cut the sound, okay, because of FCC regulations. They cut the sound, and then the video froze as well because they were trying to determine how do we do this? Should we splice and go elsewhere or whatever? But in Australia, it was a different story.
Yeah, if
And
you go to
Lonnie Love,
international YouTube, it's the whole thing. That's what I
it's the
watched it on.
whole thing. And Lonnie Love was actually videoing. So it was like if you didn't see it here on Channel 9 or whatever sort, she had it going. So people were hearing all this stuff. So just this whole thing right there, I mean, the way it transpired, excuse me, it was not normal. And you know, after all that, then Will comes out and he drops an apology on social media. I just thought that was so, to me, I don't think that was heartfelt. I think it's rather callous. I think um I think there should not have been an apology to the Oscars and everything like that on TV when you're accepting an award. To me, that's an oxymoron. I think to post an apology right then is the same. I think what should have happened is he and Will and Jada should have gotten together in order to handle their situation. Puff Daddy running around talking about, oh, it's a family, it's being handled in house family. But come on, man, let them handle it first. Then let
He
their
said what? He said what?
he was saying something about, oh, the family gonna take, the family's taking care of it. They're gonna take care of it like a family and blah blah blah. I'm like, man, do you not understand what just transpired or whatever? So you don't even understand. Do you read minds right now? You know that they have already squashed this beef. The man just got smacked on national TV. And then okay, the reward is he gets an award. Oh wow. But I think what should have happened, and this is just me being nice guy, I'm sorry, y'all, is that they should have got together in order to squash this thing first and then afterwards let their people that they pay good money to send out statements. If they want to go on social media live and make a statement or whatever. Now I'm seeing that Jada's about to go on real. She's going to do it at her table talk. She posted, this this is a season for healing and I'm here for it. This is 24 hours after she Smith issued the apology to Rock over the attack and such, and she's going to be on her red table talk talking about it. Come on, y'all. I mean, really, this is how we do it. This is what we do. We rather it's just like those reality shows. We're gonna drum it up and get it all as high as and exciting as possible instead of really understanding how we've affected someone and other people. Why can't we just be compliant and just be sensitive to each other and stuff instead of trying to go out with a bang? That's what I don't understand. Terry said, but I can say I tried to get tickets for Chris Rock's show yesterday and an alert popped up saying prices have gone so high that they have exceeded value. And then after I passed that, everywhere is sold out. So yeah, this whole thing has really escalated Chris's monetary value. But here's another thing that I know that they were talking about on several other shows and stuff. Comedians are now fearing what may happen if they get on stage. Like if you're in a comedy club and stuff, and you get on stage and you say something about somebody in the front row, does this allow them to come up and pimp slap you? A lot of comedians are talking about it. The Laugh Factory up in New York, they were talking about it the other day.
Hmm.
Think about it.
I mean, yeah, but I'm gonna make somebody mad. I'm not saying that it's not something that you should think about. But I mean, come on now. Like, here goes the dramatics. Like, oh my God, if I take my drug, is somebody gonna come and slap? Like, if ain't nobody slapped you before, like Will Smith, we just said this. He does not dictate what the that doesn't give you the calling card to address somebody. Is that what you said? Like, he's not the one person. Oh, all black people or all everybody's gonna do what Will Smith did. Like, come on, like, no, nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. If you get it, if you're in the front row and you sit in the front row, unless you've been hiding under a rock, you already know you are subjecting yourself to possible jokes. So if you don't want to be joking, you don't want to maybe even possibly be part of a joke, then move your table from the front. Like, I'm not going there. They did, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
You know he has a tour. Mm-hmm. So now he's through the roof. Lonnie got on her show and pretended like Will did nothing wrong. You can't say you don't condone violence, then say, but Will gets a pass.
Yeah, she's talking about on The Real yesterday, and Lonnie and many of them. And I thought it was interesting too, from The Real and then the talk. Many of the ladies had different interpretations as far as what occurred. To me, it was rather interesting to hear the dynamics. Some agreed, that he should have did it. And some of the older ladies and stuff were like, "Nah, that was, that's flat out, assault right there." It was just a different. I think the ages as well kind of like dictated it too, as far as just what they thought was correct and what should have been condoned. But yeah, I mean, this thing has been like the talk of the town. Jerry said, "Bull, the Smiths think that they can just live by their own rules with no consequences. I will never forget when Will said they allowed their 12-year-old daughter to get a tongue ring because they want to teach her that no one has control over her body." What? That shows the mindset of these people. Wow.
They have been under the spotlight, and they have been the, critique material of society. Oh, I don't like the way that they do this with their daughter, or oh my goodness, their son wears skirts. Meanwhile, he was doing an ad, but still, yeah, he did have a skirt on. I mean, everybody got something to say. At the end of the day, both of their kids turned out fine. They are who they are, and they're doing what they need to do. Charlie said humans are existing and greedy. I do feel that this will turn out to be a win-win for both parties involved. I do feel that Chris Rock is going to be, that person that is going to be like, all right, cool, y'all made me sell out. Because really, nobody was feeling Chris Rock. Like, people was like, I want to go on the tour. Now they're like, oh, I know he's putting this in his set. I know they're going to give us. They're going because they know he's going to probably get them some more juicy details on what happened that hasn't been disclosed on social media. So yeah, they're on it. They're buying the tickets. It's a win-win for both of them. I'm not saying that it excuses it, but when we start looking at what Charlie says, it's about the money at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rather interesting. Hey, money. I need that elder statesman, man. Go ahead and drop that knowledge, man.
Y'all done hit on it all. I just hope at the end of the day, it's some growth and some reflection, and I'm glad to at least see that both sides are taking a pause right now and hopefully addressing the issue behind the scenes.
Hopefully, because that was like I said, I didn't want to dwell on the slap, but I wanted to touch on other places, other pieces, other Oscars. It being a beautiful production, showing the Black men in unity. Samuel Jackson's award, Questlove's award. Just so many things. I wound up falling asleep, so I did not see it live when it happened, but I that's probably the longest I've ever watched the Oscars, ever, even before me falling asleep, because it's just always been so pasty. But
ouch.
I mean, that's true. It's true. Yeah. It's been so pasty. So good kudos to them, and I think that for me, there's a lot of people that I agree to disagree. They agree to disagree with me. but I also saw what some people, and I know they're just opinions, but it gave me a different idea, respect. And these are even people who are in my circle where I'm like, I might need to do some shaving. I might need to do the Legos and maybe have you on as a reserve piece versus having somebody who's connected. Because I can respect your opinion if it doesn't match as mine. I cannot respect when there's toxic things that come out your mouth. That I didn't know how you may have felt about certain issues. So yeah, that it really gave me a clearer view on what and how some people honestly feel. So I'm happy that I have social media, because sometimes people passion is their truth, you know.
True. Terry just mentioned, she said, news just dropped on Will Smith and the Academy. So yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out as we get towards the end of this show. I want to shift gears real quick because like you mentioned, since everybody's gonna have an opinion on it and stuff, as Bruh mentioned, hopefully there's some growth out of this. But I want to get this moment. A Money, you mentioned that you had you had a ram in the bush. Surprise! What's up? Do we have time? I want to hear it.
Me
Man, I don't
too.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got enough time for that one.
Well,
But
let's just do it real quick, and then we come back. We circle back.
Okay. Let's see. Leah Thomas. Have y'all heard of Leah Thomas? If no, okay. So Leah Thomas actually attends the University of Pennsylvania. A 20-year-old transgender woman holds the fastest time in the country among NCAA women in 2 events. Per ABC News, former swimmer Diana Niad states that there is a possibility of it being unfair, simply because whenever a male has the opportunity to go through puberty and actually obtain testosterone, you get growth in your limbs, you get a larger lung capacity. It gives you that doesn't actually go away whenever you start taking hormonal therapy. It does actually reduce the hormones down to what a woman's level would be, but you still keep intact what they call that legacy from actually obtaining testosterone.
Right.
So the question of the day, because it's being debated right now, is that unfair, and should transgender women be allowed to participate against other women?
No.
I knew she was gonna say that.
They need to have their own group.
I knew she was gonna say that as well.
Sports, because as a woman, I could try to be as much man as I want to and take extra testosterone, but I'm not going to be on a level to compete even with their weakest athlete, because I'm not built that way. Just like a man can take all the estrogen he wants in the world and says that he's a woman, he is still not physically a woman and should be able to compete against women and then say that it's fair. So if we're going to accept transgender people and we're going to respect them as people, then they need to be respected as people in their own group when it comes down to competing, because that's not fair.
I want to chime in real quick on that. I think that's same as well, and here's why I say that. To me, that is like, and somebody will hear it as apples and oranges. No, I beg to disagree, because there are individuals that have gone through physical trauma and have lost legs and arms and such, and they were athletes, right? They get to perform in the Paralympics and other organizations such as that. It would be unfair, because we've seen it several times as well, in which you put a paraplegic or Paralympic athlete against another athlete. It would be unfair, you know. So they specifically created organizations like that to allow them to perform because they have the love of performance and they are true athletes in their heart and their spirits first before the physical acumen comes into play.
There's something wrong. I'm sorry. All I can see and hear is Cat
I
Williams
know,
talking about Tink Tink.
I know, I knew you. Ooh, girl, you so bad. Anyway,
Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm
I can't
sorry.
laugh. I can't laugh, but I'm laughing on the inside. But I think it would be better if they did do that because I think then would not stir up so much controversy right now because I think it still would allow them to still fulfill the need of performing as an athlete because even after you stop performing, you still had that drive in you. Like A Money will tell you, and I can tell you, when you play basketball, when you run track, when you do things, you still have that desire in you, even though your body won't allow you to do so. And because of such, I think if they had their own type of organizations, I think it would be greatly enhanced by them. I think they would be able to do the same thing. And I think they wouldn't have to have so much negativity brought against them because of them still wanting to have the love to perform as an athlete. Um, but that's a very good one, A Money, because I think that even segues into not only just in that, but just think about it. Think about it this way, and Trav just posted something. I definitely want to read this. But think about it this way: what if there was a transgendered male? So, in other words, a female who's now transgendered become a male and taking enhancements and such, and they wanted to play professional football, professional basketball, all these, things like that. In which, like you mentioned, the testosterone that one gets when they're first born enhances, lung capacity, muscle fiber, tendons, bone density. It does that. So therefore, it would be unfair to put them in that position.
Well, you know that's what this is all about, right?
And I think there needs to be maybe an organization created and people get together in order to truly think about this and discuss it and put together something that will really help these athletes. Rather than throw them into the fire, so to speak, and then they get denied, and then they feel like, hey, you can't do this, it's against my rights, and then they want to have lawsuits, and then they feel like this and that. I think the way other organizations have been created in order to help individuals maximize their potential, I think that needs to happen for them as well. It's only fair.
What did Trap say?
Trav said, we equate fame and fortune to realness, and those people are furthest away from realness than you can imagine. They're always acting, even when you think they're being themselves. Trav, when we gonna get you back on, man? Trav, oh, shouts out. Let me go ahead and put that out there. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hype right now because I'm loaded up on sugar. Um, but Trav has an amazing show on Thursday nights, and I would definitely ask y'all to check him out because this brother gets on there, he drops some knowledge, and he's got, what is it, Siri or Alexa? I'm sorry, it's one of the two, but he's always asking, and then he gets a definition from him, and then he expounds on it, and he sings. It's amazing. I appreciate that brother, following his calling, and we're gonna have him on again. But if y'all get a chance, check him out on Thursday nights. Trap here be dropping that knowledge. We need that hero 101. That's basically what it is, and it's amazing. I see a lot of brothers get on, and they're blessed by it, and he really encourages them, lifts them, and the sisters love it too. Because my wife rather, she listens to it, and she's like, man, he preaching. And then he drop the F bomb, and I'll be like, well, he wasn't really preaching that, but he was dropping that knowledge. So if you get a chance, check out my brother Trap here. It's an amazing show. Um, oh wow. But I forgot about that comment that Dave Chappelle made. That was interesting.
Everybody's more protected than black people. I mean, look
Yeah.
at the stuff that started happening to the Asians and the bill that they had on the desk for over 40 some years. They threw Asian American in front of it that should have been passed for us, and it was passed for them. So now it's considered a federal hate crime.
Uh-oh.
What about us?
Mm.
I keep telling y'all, who made mention of that. I can't remember if it was Farrakhan or another brother, but he mentioned that that was going to happen. He said that. It may not have been him, but I remember listening to someone, and he was they were mentioning that very same thing, that it was going to happen, that the African Americans who were recognized as the majority minority will now becomes the minority, and another. They basically said that Asians were going to become the majority minority going into the 21st century, and it's happened.
And I have love for any of the Asian people. I'm just
Everyone.
saying, when we're looking at America,
Right.
they should have that law against some of the things that were being done to them and their businesses. And absolutely, you should not have the right to do that.
That's true.
But we have been the people that have built the country and still persevered through that same treatment, no matter how refined, educated, or tax brackets we go into, we're still treated that way. And there is nothing but excuses and loopholes and cover ups for it to just continue on.
Mm.
Mm.
Like A Money said, we need to learn how to love on each other a little bit better.
We need
And
to learn how to
grow
love
from
on
it.
each other. We need to learn how to stop putting our money into everybody else. Because, see, when you get it, you get it. We spend the most money on everybody else instead of us. When we start having our own stuff and we start establishing our own things, we got people that are bankers. We got stuff now. We got people who have actually bought branches of a bank. Like, we got to start doing our own thing with our own money. That is the only thing that this country listens to. It's
Anyway.
money.
Oh, she's saying he now faces expulsion and a award revoked.
Yep.
Wow.
They started disciplinary actions, and they will give him a 15-day notice or something like that. Once the decision is made.
That's interesting, considering what Whoopi said on the talk. You know, she's on the governor's board, so you know she was like, "Oh, they ain't gonna take it away."
I think if they remove it from Will Smith, I think that it should still be given to the project.
Agree.
Wow. So that's interesting though, because if they do that, but then there's will they go back and take away Harvey Wiseman's award as well?
Mm.
I guess that's something that you can put out to the woke crew.
I'm just saying it's
The
amazing.
I call them the WCCC, the woke crew cancel culture. Maybe that's something you might want to get stirred up about, because they don't do what they supposed to do. So go on and see if that give them a true mission.
Yes, man. I'm telling you, it's an interesting world that we live in. That's why I say, you know, again, y'all, we have to be very eyes open as far as everything that goes on, and you know, not just being so reactionary, but understand we got to stop playing checkers and start playing chess in our lives.
And understand your role.
Listen, like I said one time before, the direction that you're supposed to go, which God has put into you, is inherent. You know what is right and wrong.
Mhm.
He put that in you. Sometimes you just have to actually stop and take account of it and just listen to it.
That's it, man. That's
When you
it.
don't know what to do, consult God.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that. Amen. Oh, my grandbaby says hello to everyone. Well, family, thank y'all once again for joining us on At the Round Table. We really enjoyed having y'all on. Thank you to each one of the individuals that have been sharing the show behind the scenes. Um, keep sharing the show because we love to see what other people think about this. We love to see their comments, and it actually helps us be better family members, if that makes sense. Um, I think that's pretty much it. A
Mm-hmm.
Money said it most and best so eloquently. You know, Deacon, thank you, man, and Pitbull as well. You know, they hold it down um, and really help us reflect as far as what we are trying to be as a podcast. So thank y'all. And if you get a chance, again, be a blessing to somebody else. Don't care what you do and how you do it. Somebody needs it. So until we see y'all again, peace.
All right.